Hello.
Hi.
Greetings.
Good
also,
hello.
I would like to cordially welcome everyone here who's currently here to the 116th edition of the GameBrew Pod Show. I am your major domo, Ian, the king of all cosmos, Richard, and I am joined by Daniel BK Ratz.
Greetings and salutations, my good man.
And Chris, the Goots writes. The Goose writes.
I'm not sure if I should honk or die tragically in a plane crash.
Try honking first.
And then try the plane crash then. But can we make that your real nickname from now on? The Goots? I don't know why.
Goots.
This is like, just next time I see you, I'm just going to go, Goots!
Oh, it's the Goots.
It's the Goots, man.
Dan and the Goots.
Dan and the Goots.
This half fortnight on the beginning part of the episode, we'll be discussing whimsy in gaming. And in the second portion, we'll be dishing on foods from games we'd most like to eat in real life. But first, it is the appropriate hour for a carbonated yeast beverage.
This is fun.
Christopher, what are we consuming this session?
Well, so none of us were able to get the beer that we wanted to get.
As is tradition.
Well, not really, actually. We've been pretty good about it.
We've been pretty good at the last one.
We were looking for Bell's Oberon, which I thought was a summer beer. It's a great beer. Not available right now for me. And I don't think it was available for anyone else.
But
we did a bad job researching that, apparently.
But you know why? It's because beer is different in seasons from the regular seasons. So, like, now it's pumpkin beer season and also Oktoberfest season.
No. Yes, it's Oktoberfest beer season.
So
it's not pumpkin beer season. We don't talk about that here.
Well, but I will say, though, if you go to your local beer beverage dispensary...
Chris is like, you will not go.
You won't.
There are so many.
You will not collect $200. Not drink pumpkin beers.
Dang it! I want to collect $200.
They're all the same, and they're like,
I agree.
Sweet.
I agree with you.
You know what's way better? Oktoberfest. They're so good.
They are. I agree with you,
It's
Chris.
like, it's hard to recommend a good pumpkin beer, but it's easy to recommend a good Oktoberfest beer.
Which pumpkin beer do you like? None of them. Which Oktoberfest do you like?
All of them. There you go. Good recommendations across the board.
Chuggability, 12. Literally, that's their job.
Chris, but why don't you tell us about what you are drinking this week?
I'm drinking Neon Rainbows.
But the beer that you're
what's the beer,
Chris?
though?
Yeah, Neon Rainbows. It's a New England style IPA from Omegang. It's part of the OMG series.
OMG.
So Omegang, you might know from I believe their white ale is one of their biggest ones. Mm-hmm. They also did a lot of beers for Game of Thrones.
They did all those like special edition ones that you could.
Yeah. But yeah, they're like I think they're up in New York, kind of close to Cooperstown, if I recall correctly. They are in Cooperstown. But yeah, they specialize in Belgian style ales. They're really good. This one is it's a good New England style IPA. It's not like to be fair, I'm drinking it a little bit warm, but because I didn't get it in the fridge fast enough. But it's pretty good. Drinkability is pretty good. It's not too carbonated. Like it's not too like bitey with that. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of good hop flavor, but it's not too aggressive with that. It's what you expect from a New England IPA. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. It's basically like the quintessential beer that I like for that type, and it's what I've been really interested in recently in the past probably 6 to 12 months with IPAs.
That sounds great. Chuggability?
For me, pretty high. Probably a 7.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Dan, please give us your beer book report. Your book beer report.
My beer report. I'm drinking.
Can you introduce yourself first and tell us what grade you're in?
My name is Dan, and I'm in the 4th grade. And I'm drinking Windover Matter by Bell's Beer Company.
Okay, so you ended up getting a Bell's.
I did get a Bell's beer. I got it's called Rindover Matter. It's a wheat ale with lemon and orange zest. It's fine.
There's a lot of wheat going on this week.
Well,
that was the intent.
That was the
Mine
intent.
Didn't have wheat.
I suppose that's true.
I tried. But honestly, like, it's fine. It's if you want a wheat ale that has some lemon and orange in it, it does it. It's got that.
How is it compared to like a shock top or like a?
It's less orangey than a shock top is. Like this,
yeah, but like I'm talking about just citrusy, I guess.
It's not. It doesn't beat you over the face with the amount of citrus that's there. So it's got some flavor in it. It's pretty good. But I actually want to talk about what I've been drinking the rest of the week. So I've been not walking around as much.
Okay.
I'm gaining weight. And I've realized that I drink a lot of beer. So I want to. So I'm cutting back on the amount of beer that I drink, but I did get some other low calorie things. So I've been drinking some more seltzers. So I'm trying the Bud Light seltzer.
Those are shockingly good.
It's honestly pretty good. Right now, like in my hand, I'm holding the blue raspberry flavor.
That was just a tiny little advertisement. Good job, you two. Bud Light.
No. I had zero. I had the lowest expectations for that particular seltzer because Bud Light is. It's not Miller Lite, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah. But I mean, the blue raspberry one that I'm drinking right now, it tastes like if you were to drink an alcoholic version of the blue Sour Patch Kid.
That's exactly what it should be.
How is it super sweet or is
it's not super sweet. It gets you the flavor, but it's still like kind of light and airy. So it's good and less calories, so I don't feel as bad.
That reminds me, actually, 2 weeks ago, I think I bought a box of something called Ranch Water Seltzer. It's from Texas. Ranch water.
Ranch water. Just dip right in, take it from the ranch, bam.
So they had a couple different flavors. It was prickly pear, regular, spicy, and
spicy
grapefruit. I think my favorite was the spicy.
What was it? Just spicy? Did it have like a peppery sort of spice? What?
Yeah, I would say it was like a peppery flavor. It was like it had like the seltzer itself had a flavor. So like there was like I think it uses agave.
Okay.
So it has some of that agave flavor, and then with the spicy one, there is just a little bit of bite on the back end. So kind of like that peppery bite in the back of your throat.
Right.
I might have to look for that.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
all the rest were kind of whatever, but like that one particular, the spicy ranch water.
Golden Road, which is a California brewery, for a while was doing a habanero mango beer that was just on point, and it had that like sort of like red pepper spiciness behind the sweetness of the mango. It was really cool. So I love spicy beers like that.
That was
I love, and I think Marianne, if I recall, likes some spicy margs too. So
she does.
Who doesn't like them spicy margs?
Yeah, that's true. All right, and I am drinking Modelo Especial because it is
Especial.
This is, I think, probably my go-to like Mexican German style beer. And it's just like a really good drinking beer. I have come to appreciate this beer a lot, and it's complex enough that it actually doesn't need a lime, whereas I feel like Corona's like, if you don't have a lime with your Corona, like, what's the point of this endeavor? Whereas Modelo has a little bit more to offer in terms of like actual flavor and body to it.
Absolutely.
And it's just a little bit more amber. It's great.
The only beer that I've had that's better of that style, and we tried to get it, but we couldn't find it, was called Bohemia.
Yes, I remember that.
I remember trying to get it,
Yeah, it was... Well, I had it down in Mexico, and it was rocking, dude. So I if you get down there, try to get some of that.
Yeah. But go to Mexico, get some beer, come back,
distribute it. Yeah.
Step 3, profit, you know?
So that's what I'm drinking. Dan, what are you been up to this week?
So this week, Psychonauts 2 finally came out by Double Fine Productions.
And honestly, I had no idea. haven't been paying attention, but it didn't have any fanfare from what I could tell.
But it's always kind of been like Psychonauts, the first one, was always kind of like a sleeper hit.
Right.
Like Double Fine Productions in general is kind of like an acquired taste sometimes. But
I mean, I like the taste.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it came out. There were like ads and stuff for it, but it's like I played it and I finished it.
Oh my gosh!
So,
blah, blah, blah.
How long was it?
I just inhaled it. It's probably a medium game. I need to look.
Would you say you huffed it?
Would you?
Yeah, I inhaled it. I devoured this game. But it's great because Psychonauts came out like 15 years ago?
13 years ago or something? Yeah.
And so this game basically is it's a continuation of the story.
Right.
In 2017, they came out with a VR game that continued the story from after you left like Camp Whispering Rock, and then you were in the Rhombus of Ruin, and now this one takes you from the Rhombus of Ruin to the Mother Lobe, which is the Psychonauts headquarters. But it continues the story. All the same voice actors are there doing stuff, so it's just like
wow.
That's awesome.
So it's all like it's just all nostalgia, and it's a great story. It's very moving. I did find myself tearing up a little bit towards the end whenever I finished it. Also, Chris, you'll love this. Jack Black is in it as a character.
In a big way?
Oh, yeah. He's a character named the Psy King.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
I didn't realize it was like I was playing and I was like, this guy sounds so familiar. And then there's a part where he sings and I was like, that's freaking Jack Black. And you might know that if you were around long enough ago, you would remember that Jack Black was in their game Brutal Legend that they did too.
Oh, I remember.
That was another game that was like super like it was really good, but not a lot of people really played it.
It didn't know what it wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it a lot. I was actually Eddie Riggs for Halloween one year in college.
It was like, if you were just down to clown, Brutal Legend was good.
And also into fucking metal.
Yes.
It also introduced me into like a ton of different metal stuff that like I didn't really know about, like Judas Priest and
White Snake. I remember there was the
Motorhead.
Yeah, all these great ones, all these awesome things, but
all the good stuff.
Ozzy Osbourne's in that game.
Yes.
Ozzy was like
true.
Ozzy was a vendor basically.
That game was great. But but Psychonauts 2 is like it touches on the nostalgia of video games in that it's a platformer. It's like a action platformer. So you're doing the same thing you did in Psychonauts. Like even you start out with pretty much all the powers that you got from the first game.
Okay.
And then you just find new ones as you're playing this one. So it feels like it's just more. Like the other story had a cliffhanger, so this just kept going from there.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, Double Fine is such a fun studio that it's cool to see them like have that success. And I haven't seen a ton of press about it, Chris, like you were saying, but I have seen a couple of rather large articles being very positive about it. So glad to see that for them.
Yeah, and it sounds like they of other video games that kind of came out a long time ago and had a hiatus, like Shenmue 3 or something like that. Like
right.
it seems like it's really good to hear that it came out and was successful instead of just being a big disappointment for a lot of the fans.
It was great. Like the improvements are good. The art, like the graphical improvements, it still keeps the feel of the original one where everything was a little cartoony. But you also get on another voice actor note, two of my favorite YouTubers were in it because they love the game so much.
Right.
From Funhouse, Elise and James Willems were both in it as characters, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, they're in the game! That's amazing!" Because James would always talk about how amazing Psychonauts is, and I would always be like, "Yes, it's an amazing game, and it's so good, and it's so." But it's just so, because it talks about the game. There's a little disclaimer on it too, because it talks about like mental illness, because it is like you're going into people's psyches and stuff like that. So it says like these are like generalizations of real mental illnesses. It is not about making fun of them. It is about finding ways to cope with them. That is what this game is about.
that's huge, and I love that that's part of the discussion of that game too. I mean, and we'll get more to this later. So, let's put that in a little bubble, and we'll come back to it. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think that's important for our later discussion. Chris, I haven't been doing anything this week, so I'm just going to skip right over myself. It looks like you have been busy.
Yeah, you could probably say I was writing an opera called Carmen because I was busy.
Oh.
That's for all the music nerds out there. If you
You like that, don't you?
Yeah.
So we last week when we were talking about topics for this
Chris,
episode,
you're such a bad boy.
I downloaded a bunch of stuff that I hadn't downloaded from Humble Bundle. It just been kind of sitting there for a while, so I picked up a bunch of them and started playing some of them just to see what stuck.
Yep.
So a couple of them, I'm gonna fire them off real quick.
All right.
I did Zvey, the Ilvard Insurrection. It's a game I think came out in 2008. So it's kind of old and you can feel it a little bit, but it's kind of a fun little dungeon diver. With the unique part being that you level up by eating food.
Ooh.
Delicious.
Yummy.
But also food heals you.
Okay.
So you kind of have to balance that a little bit. And you also have things like where if you acquire 10 pieces of a certain food, you can upgrade that to another food that's going to be better. So you kind of have to do some resource management there. And it's been a lot of fun. The combat itself is pretty basic.
Yeah.
And it's not like a super hard game.
Right.
But it was fun. It's like a summer rom-com. It's like something that you throw on and it's kind of fun, but like you don't really take it too seriously.
Yeah, it's like the recently released He's All That.
That was recent?
No.
Also very serious.
She's All That was the
one.
Well,
yeah, no, I remember She's All That. I saw He's All That. I just assumed that happened like 20 years ago and I hadn't seen it and it just like popped up on my feed.
Oh no, it's brand new. It just came out.
Excellent. Awesome.
And apparently it's terrible, but you know.
Rachel
Lee Cook is in it, so.
Also this week I played Jurassic World Evolution, which is made by the same company that did Planet Coaster, so I had high hopes.
Yes.
Super interesting, and they kind of make you kind of stay on your toes with some of the dinosaurs like trying to get out sometimes, and they have different needs, but like it's a little two-dimensional. Like it's got some depth, but it's not super deep, and it's fun, but I can see it kind of getting old pretty quick.
Okay.
The Outer Worlds I picked up and started playing.
Oh.
What'd you think of that?
I've enjoyed it so far. I like that it's basically a love child of Borderlands and Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of the quests are pretty... I like some of the originality of the quests, but some of them are very much like black and white.
Yes.
And I feel like they're pretty...
black and white?
Like there's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, and like the good thing or the bad thing are like kind of pretty clear. And like I'm kind of waiting for that to bite me in the ass, and so far it hasn't.
Interesting.
You know, it's kind of that way almost the whole time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
though, like I'm kind of waiting for I'm kind of waiting to be surprised, and I haven't been.
Yeah. Thought you did all the good things. Well, all those good things you did meant that the dam was closed and there's no water for anyone, and you murdered a whole valley of people. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, it's not that.
Man,
okay. Well,
I feel like a woman.
Yeah, it's like you filled the valley with water and everyone's happy. How do you feel? Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, I did a good job.
Have a good day
because you did a good job.
You're the best. Thanks, bud.
So yeah, running through those pretty quickly because today I've been playing a lot, and last night I played a lot of 7 Days to Die, which is not one of my standard games that I usually like.
It's not a thing that I would think for Chris. Yeah.
Reason being, it's a crafting game. It's a survival game.
Mm-hmm.
Those things, I think I've narrowed it down to the fact that I don't like crafting too much. And with 7 Days to Die recently, it seems like they've made exploration a much bigger portion of the game.
Okay. Interesting.
In what way?
Basically, the entire time that I've been playing, I've been doing exploring.
You haven't been doing really any crafting or anything. It's more just...
I've been doing a little bit of crafting. So like I've been playing with 2 other friends, and my job has been cooking and armor creation.
Okay.
And so both of those require certain things, and I have to go find them. So that means I've been spending a lot of time searching for them. And it's not a lot of base building.
Okay.
And the base building, I think the part that I was getting bored with. I really enjoy exploration. That's the part that, like in Fallout, that I really enjoy. And this is doing a lot of that Fallout-esque, like searching through burnt out houses, finding stuff.
Right.
And I really enjoy that.
As I understand it, there are like dungeons and things essentially in 7 Days to Die. Not just like houses, but it's like pretty deep, in-depth sort of delves.
Yeah, so like you'll find like a food manufacturing plant or like a dairy or a school. And they might have more difficult things to go through. And generally at the end, you'll find a pretty good chest with stuff in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like I really like that kind of echoes back to like Fallout 4, Fallout 3 ish. So I've been really enjoying that and that aspect, and I'm really glad that they've kind of opened up more ways to enjoy the game than just being a crafting game. If that makes sense.
That does make sense, and I think that's an interesting like way. I haven't played it in a long time, so I didn't even know those were parts of it. So
yeah, and it was while I was playing it, I was reminded a lot of Valheim.
Oh yeah, okay.
The crafting is not as good as Valheim. Like it doesn't feel as good. Like Valheim is it feels good when you're crafting stuff. It's quick.
Yeah.
It's fast. It feels good. It looks good. With this, it's
you go into a bunch
not
of
about
menus.
aesthetics at all.
You go into menus, you do a
aesthetics.
thing, you leave the menus.
Yep. Yeah. So, but I also am realizing that the parts that I liked about Valheim were the parts about looking for stuff, and that's what I'm finding here too. And so it's hitting a lot more of the things I like, I guess.
Nice. That's awesome. Yep. I hope
I'm sure Carrie's a lot happy to hear that.
Too hard.
She better.
I'm sure she will respond. All right. So let's go ahead and do the first session, which is very serious. So I just want to
devour this first one.
I want to inhale it.
Okay, or we'll just inhale it. So
except it's levity, so we're not going to. That's a bad transition.
So we wanted to talk about levity in gaming. So levity. Yeah, Chris, I see you have a hand there.
What's levity mean?
Levity is humor and frivolity, and especially it refers to things that sort of might take a serious subject and make it silly.
Okay.
So, but not just that, right? It's also just things that are just silly for the sake of being silly. And I was playing this topic came out of I was playing Heave Ho a couple weeks ago with Marianne's nephews, and it was just an amazing video gaming experience. And we really got to like sit and get to know each other. But it is Heave Ho is not a complicated game, and it is not a serious game. Like there's farting in it. You're basically just like holding hands with other people, but at the same time, like we found holding hands. But we found ourselves. I found myself in this gaming experience with other people where, like one of the cousins was just new to video games and didn't understand it really well, and so the whole thing was just like the whole team coming together to like try to help them get through this map that we had to get through at the same time. So this really silly experience led to something that I think that, and I hope that was actually meaningful for that person, which was like the feeling of being included, the feeling of accomplishment that came through this really silly game. So it's like something super silly, but then there's like maybe a not silliness to it.
So just to get this under my understanding right here. So there was someone that hadn't played a lot of video games before, and there was a bunch of other people that had played video games before. Yeah. They're all playing the same game, and they're all working together for the same goal. And the people that were
the less experienced
were able to pick up the slack for the person that was less experienced.
Yeah, everybody sort of worked together to make that experience good for them.
And had fun while
awesome.
doing it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. That feels so good.
And it was also an experience that I didn't feel like I could have gotten in a space like Modern Warfare, right?
Oh,
You just don't get that opportunity.
You're kind of thrown into the crucible with that one.
I've recently discovered the types of games that Hannah really likes are games where she can beat me up. Or like, because the other day I taught her how to play Magic the Gathering, and we played with some of her friends who play a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Physical or physical?
Physical. We because so she has we got her 2 starter packs of cards. We started playing. She started to kind of pick it up, and then
What's that?
It was the Jade and it was like a double pack of decks.
Was it like the new Forgotten Realms stuff though?
No, but I did get some Forgotten Realms booster packs.
That shit is so cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering is on a tear right now.
Yeah, we're getting back into it again
awesome.
here, but
Same.
But we were playing with some of our friends, and we played a 4-way match. And even though there were only 3 of us left in the match whenever we were playing at one point, and the one guy had a deck that was healing him a bunch, and so he had like 68 health, and I was like, Hannah, we have to kill him. And she was like, okay. And then she was just like, I'm going to use all my monsters to attack you, Dan. And I was like, what? And she was just like, I just want you to lose. I think this is going to be great. And I was like, what?
Oh, so it wasn't 2 versus 2. It was
4.
1 versus 1
it
versus
was
1
like
versus 1.
everybody versus everybody.
4-headed dragon.
Yes.
If you will.
And it was really fun, but also she was being very mean to me, but she had a lot of fun doing that. So that was our discovery, or my discovery, I think, on that. But we also did play a game. We played something called Fogs this week. Phogs.
Fogs.
Yes.
I don't know this thing.
Is this just Pogs, dude?
No. No, it's a game.
Oh, I do know this. Yes,
It's a game where you play a dog with 2 heads and a body that's connected, and then you have to do puzzles. And it's just fun. And also because you have to like you bite stuff, but anytime you don't bite stuff, anytime you press the bite button, you just go yep, 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 yep. So we were just going around just go and just jumping around.
Awesome. What kind of dogs are they?
Yeah, is it with Labradors or Dachshunds or?
I don't know. It just they're technically fogs. They have no.
They're not dogs.
They're not
They're
type.
not actually dogs.
They're a dog called Fogs. Or Foggos is what it says.
So what's the takeaway here, Dan? Like looks like a really colorful game. Looks like it's kind of like puzzly and goofy. But like, what did it get into for you and Hannah that was like good or important? Like, how did it make you feel, and why was it good?
That dogs are cute. Number 1.
Important. Yes.
And
it is known,
and also teamwork. I guess it was fun. I don't know.
Makes a dream work.
We had fun whenever we were doing it. We were sometimes we play games and she doesn't like them, or like they
why?
make her,
so tell me about that.
Why she doesn't like games? Most of them make her.
Yeah,
most of them make her dizzy. She has motion sickness, so like anything with a movable camera or like third person stuff or first person stuff makes her really dizzy. So puzzle games like this easier to play for her. She doesn't get as dizzy playing them. And then also cute dogs. We like cute dogs.
More accessible.
Like a good doggo.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's something about the aesthetic that's a little bit more welcoming?
I think any game, and this is how I feel in general. Games like this, it's a little cartoony, very simple art style. Like it's not like, oh, it's running at 120 frames per second and getting these crazy
I mean, it probably is.
Shaders. I mean, it might be, but it's like there's not like a lot of weird textures. It's just like it's just cute, and it's like stuff looks like things, but cartoony versions of them, you know. And I thought that was really cool. It was really fun, and it made us have a fun time.
And it made you have a fun. Well, that's great to hear, Dan. Chris, yeah,
and it reminds me a lot of. We mentioned the King of All Cosmos earlier, so it reminded me of Katamari Damacy.
Yes.
Yeah. This was like one of the first games I remember that had kind of that absurdistness in video games.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it kind of really made an impact on me. Like it's just so the premise of the game is that you're a Katamari, which is just kind of a ball, a sticky ball.
Uh-huh.
And you're trying to roll stuff up. And so as you roll stuff up, you get bigger and you can roll bigger stuff up.
Right.
And I believe the purpose of the game is to roll up the sun. I think that's the second game, maybe. I can't remember if that's the first game or not.
I think the first one, it's you're trying to remake the sun because it's disappeared.
Ah, okay.
Which is
so
why
the
you're
second
bringing
game,
everything together.
Yeah.
you must bring enough stuff together to roll up the sun. So you must be bigger than the sun.
Yes.
So it was always kind of a very silly thing, and like you're going around these very interesting arenas where there are people doing these things, like fishing or
Walking a dog.
having a picnic or walking a dog, and you're just rolling up like picnic baskets and fish and all these things, and you keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually you get to the point where you're able to roll up people that you couldn't. They were kicking you before,
Right.
because you were so small. So it's such a silly concept, and I don't know. I always loved the fact that it existed because I had never seen anything like it before.
And
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
but also the fact that it does it in it's like a goofy, fun sort of like the people who are running around are doing weird. Like there's like you roll up a bunch of people who are standing on top of each other, and you see that they're called acrobat, B-crobat, C-crobat, D-crobat.
Yeah.
Like or like you see someone that's like fish, much bigger fish, and you hit them, they go boing, and then as they're rolling around, you're rolling up cars, buildings.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous, and I love it.
It's nothing like any other video game anyone's ever had before.
Yeah, it is really unique, but it's also interesting to me just to like watch the reactions on your faces while this is happening, because like for example, Chris, when you were talking earlier about like Jurassic World Evolution or The Outer Worlds, there wasn't like this glowy smile on your face that there is when you talk about Katamari Damacy. And like that's not to say that every game needs to make you like ha, but it is to say that like I think that sometimes we tend to, or at least I tend to think about video games as like, okay, if I feel like I have accomplished something, then the game is good. Or if I feel like I've intellectually accomplished something like a puzzle game, right? Or if I've skill-based beat someone in another thing, Rocket League, then that's a good thing. And this puts all of that aside and says like, okay, let's just screw around and have a good time. And it seems like a simple concept, but it ends up being really meaningful in a way that like we maybe don't call out very often.
Well, and I would argue that there is a lot that you're trying to do. Like there is some skill involved, and there like you have to do a certain order of things to grow a certain way and get the things you want to be, and you can get certain times for levels or getting certain sizes for your Katamari for levels. So I wouldn't say that there's not like that competitive aspect of it, but there's just so much joy behind it. Like there's so much silliness and fun that like regardless of whether you beat the level or not, or if you don't beat what you've done before or not, you still had a great time doing it because you were kind of exploring this little level that was made, and you'll see like Dan said, people that are stacked up on top of each other, or you might see like fish in a certain way,
right,
that they shouldn't normally be.
Yeah. Let's stay with Katamari Damacy for a moment. And Dan, I want to take it to you. Do you feel like part of this idea of levity or of whimsy is that it's like a silly thing that helps to relieve us of the anxiety of thinking about a heavier thing that thing also deals with? Do you think that Katamari is doing that in any way about anything?
I think so, in a way that it kind of started off. I wouldn't even say it started off, but it kind of brought into more popularity this style of game where there are so many games. There's a lot more games now that are like, do this ridiculous thing because it's fun. Untitled Goose Game is
I Am Bread.
You just play a rambunctious goose who's just messing up people's days, and it's adorable. You can honk it. There's a button to honk at people where you just and that's aggressively honk at them. But it's like, because it's like games can, I think, and this goes back to my feeling about games sometimes, where it's like if they're too hard, or if it's like something that's like hard and not fun, there's still people who play it and like you can see them get frustrated by it, or like they don't look like they're having fun. Like you said on their faces, like you don't look like you're having fun playing this game. Why are you still playing this game?
Why are you doing this? Yeah.
And there are some people who go, Like, there are some people who do that because they enjoy getting better at things. Like, that's completely possible. But then there's games like this where it's like, you don't have to be good at it. You could just play it and have a good time because it's just inherently fun, because it's designed to be like, you're going to have fun doing this thing, rolling up all of these school children, you know? It's going to be great.
So I guess a couple of the things I was wondering about with Katamari were like that father-son dynamic always seemed a little bit problematic to me.
The king of all cosmos and the prince of all cosmos.
Right. And also I do wonder if there's some kind of criticism of like the acquisition of things, or possibly like late stage capitalism in Katamari inherently, because you're just like collecting stuff to the point where nothing makes sense anymore.
I think that's reading too deep into the game.
Okay.
Because it's literally, the game literally starts with the king of the cosmos accidentally loses the sun and then says, and he's so lazy, he's not going to do it himself. So he's just like, oh, Prince of the Cosmos, won't you go roll up more things to make the sun? And you're just like,
it's like,
okay.
It's like literally like a lazy D&D setup.
Yes. It's just like, sun's gone. Gotta get the sun, man. And he's just like,
I'm really powerful, but I'm not going to do it. You do it.
I think in the second one, the plot is that the king of all cosmos is asleep and you have to wake him up. I literally think that's the plot of it. And it's great. He's asleep. And there's a robot king of the cosmos who takes over because he's asleep and he can't wake up.
Yeah.
But if you fail, you get shot by laser eyes.
That's never good. Rainbow laser eyes.
Yeah. Even worse than regular laser eyes.
So in summary, Katamari Damacy, go play that.
Go play it.
Roll some stuff
does
out.
not have anything to do with late stage capitalism. I think Ian's getting a little too deep.
It might.
It might, but also I don't know if it does.
But maybe not. I'd also like to. I don't. How are we doing again? Time.
I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
We should probably stop this.
There are also.
All we've really talked about is Katamari, so I would like to talk about maybe something else for a little bit.
Well, have either of you played What the Golf?
I've played things that are similar. Golf with Friends. I've watched people play What the Golf.
Golf with Friends is not similar. And I wish to highlight this point. If you think you've played What the Golf and you've played like the first couple 15, 20, 30 minutes of What the Golf, keep playing What the Golf, because this game is fucking brilliant and I love it and it's absurd.
Oh, that's right. This is the one where you like sometimes you hit the ball and instead your body flies, or you have to get a house into a plot.
Exactly. Yeah. But like it goes from there and just goes like in every different direction that it could possibly go, where like it completely abandons ideas of golf. Sometimes you're golfing in space, sometimes you're like playing a different video game but with golf balls. Like it literally is just like an idea collector for like, what if this thing, and there was like a VR section. So I was playing it on my iPad, which is just a great way to play this game if you can get it on iPad, because you're doing the VR section. You have to like hold it up and like look around and like find the golf ball. And the game is like very much a whimsical sort of like goofy adventure, and it's like comedic. It's designed to make you laugh because it is so silly. And I think like I love that they chose golf as sort of the medium for this, because they really could have chosen anything. Like this could be like What the Ping Pong or like whatever, but golf is such like a self-serious thing where like people are like, oh, I'm going golfing, and it's like a business adventure. Yeah.
So I'm watching the video right now, and it's so like one of them is like you have to sneak in like Metal Gear style into the hole. Like it's brilliant. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's so much stuff in this game, and it's so
hilarious.
Silly. Yeah, it's really, really, really incredible. So if you haven't
there's
played,
like a boss fight, and you have to keep hitting him.
Yeah,
and he hates golf, and you just have to keep smacking with a golf ball.
Yeah, and they did a really good job like teaching you a rule, and then making fun of that rule.
It doesn't exist anymore. No rules.
Yeah. Yeah, well, or like toying with that rule.
Yeah.
So there, it's like get the golf ball in the hole, and you're like, okay, I can do that, and the hole starts running away from the golf ball every time you shoot it out there, and you're like, oh,
that's awesome.
Like there's so much silliness, and it
like
doesn't
that a lot.
explain anything. So
I have to
definitely,
play that. That sounds great.
yeah. If you're looking for something silly, What the Golf is super fun.
So do you think that these games, like the reason that these are the ones that were like these are so fun is because it's almost just like they put a bunch of people in a room and just went, well, what if this, you know? And they're like, oh, well, what if this? Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Hilarious, yeah. I think
They're
there's
super
something
cheeky.
to that where it's like the unexpected is part of what's interesting about it, and like it's sort of like whereas another game is like the reward is like, oh, I got better, or oh, I got points, or I leveled up. This is really like the reward is like, oh, that was silly, haha.
Yeah,
which is its own reward.
Yeah, activates the fun center of your brain. You're like,
yeah, which is so important. Like, and that's another reason I love also Human Fall Flat, which keeps adding content. Which bless those people. I feel like Human Fall Flat got me through some of the pandemic, so thank you.
But also Fall Guys.
Yeah, true.
Fall Guys is good too because it's just derpy humans or things. They're
beans.
Derpy beans slapping each other with loose limbs until they fall off of stuff.
All right, so let's close out this section. Dan, why are these kind of games important to you?
Why are they important to me? Because sometimes I just want to not think and laugh at stuff. And whenever I've watched every episode of The Office 9 million times, or I finish The Good Place again, I just want to play something where I don't have to think or think very minimally and silly things happen. And it makes me happy when silly things happen.
Okay, Chris, same question.
I think it's really telling that you pointed out the fact that when we were talking about these games, we had a big smile on our face the entire time.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were talking about other games, it was kind of in a more serious fashion. And I think that tells a lot. It's kind of like watching a summer comedy versus like watching a drama or something like that. And sometimes you just need that summer comedy to kind of straighten yourself out. That's awesome.
Watching a Marvel movie versus a Oscar-winning like film.
It's like watching Super Troopers.
Yeah, right. It's like, I know it's stupid. I don't care. It's hilarious.
It's stupid and not a great movie, but damn, I love that movie.
All right, that's going to be it for the first half. When we come back, we're going to talk about some delicious, delicious foods and video games. Stick with us.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the GameBrew Podcast, episode 116. I'm joined by my mates, Dan and Chris.
Hello, it's good to be here.
Evening, governor.
How's the beer?
The beer's American, so shitty.
Top notch. Top notch.
It's
I don't know
too
what beer you're
cold for
drinking, but
you.
it's top notch.
It's great. No, it's great. I'm drinking a Bell's Round Over Matter. It's great. It's doing a good job for me, I think.
And Chris?
Yeah, I've moved on to the funk.
The funk? Is it funky?
Yeah, I'm drinking straight up. I'm injecting it. The funk.
You know, we do want it.
Mm-hmm. We want
Gotta have it.
We want it.
We want the funk. Gotta have
that funk. It's it's a beer by Duclaw from Baltimore. It's blueberry citrus wheat.
And
I gotta say, it's quite good. It's like drinking a blueberry muffin.
Ooh, that would be yummy. I love blue,
but like not like a oppressively sweet blueberry muffin. It's like a really tasty blueberry muffin. Ooh, I almost dropped it.
Oh. Have I told you that I really like blueberry in beers? Like anytime that flavor's in there, I think it's very
That's
nice.
my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Let's dig into that.
Let's dig into blueberries.
Yeah,
and
let's get
beers.
here. Hold on.
No, let's dig into it. Yeah, well, let's.
Hold on. Let me get.
Did they hurt you in your childhood?
I've got to get out my notebook. So would you say that your mother one time made very bad?
Would you call your mother a blueberry?
Yes. Did you ever go to a factory where a eccentric chocolate worker turned you into a large blueberry?
No.
Okay. So all right. So
Check that off.
No, there's something about like the blueberries are really sweet. and they're also kind of tart, and that like sweet tartness can really overwhelm the beeriness of a beer. And when the beeriness of a beer is overwhelmed, I am overwhelmed.
Interesting. So it was something from your childhood as well. No, but I mean, I get that.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I get that. Whenever it's too sweet, whenever something's too sweet, whenever it shouldn't be sweet, then that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. No, I would encourage you to drink one of these. It's at least to try it.
Okay.
It's not aggressively sweet. It has like a nice blueberry flavor, but it's not aggressively sweet. It's like a blueberry pancake without syrup.
Ooh.
How's that sound for you?
I'm hungry.
Maybe I don't.
Hunger.
Speaking of go, Chris, do it. You're halfway there.
I just laid it up, dude. I'm doing it for you.
Speaking of hunger, the second half we wanted to talk about some of the favorite. No, not our favorite. The foods that we would like to eat from video games in real life. So if we could take this food, turn it into a real food, and then eat it in real life. So I'm throwing it out there. Here's the one for me. I want to eat the mushroom and fruit dish from Breath of the Wild.
It does look really good whenever
that's
he's
like
cooking it.
literally any mushroom and any fruit.
It's so gross.
And it's always the
It's
same.
always the same.
It just makes me want to barf every time I see that thing. It's literally like that mushroom and fruit is not a good. Like I can't think of a mushroom and a fruit that I would put together and then be like, yes, this is gonna be good.
I mean, I probably could
Portobello's
do it.
and
Like,
pineapples, maybe.
Ew.
No, pineapple shouldn't go on foods. Pineapple shouldn't go on
I yes, I should. This is a challenge. I'm gonna figure this out. Not today, but like I'm gonna try out how to do mushrooms and fruit.
See what works the best. You ever see? How sometimes in games, this has been happening a lot when we've been playing Fortnite and stuff like that. But whenever you see meat, where it's just it's like a bone, and then there's meat on the end.
Yeah,
I want to eat that.
Yeah.
So that's like the medieval like medieval cartoon like eating a bunch of things on a meat.
Yeah, it's just a meat.
I get that. I get that a little bit from eating turkey legs at a Renaissance festival.
But I want it to be one single bone and then just meat around it.
That's so.
Yes.
I'll send you a recipe, Dan. This is like the Monster Hunter thing, right? Where they're like turning it on the spit and it's like perfectly done. You're like, oh, I can smell the fat cooking.
Oh yeah.
And it also reminds me of. Did you guys do any raids in WoW?
Not really.
A
No.
few, yeah.
So in WoW, when you're doing raids, someone always brings a feast.
Yeah.
And it's like a buff thing that you eat. And there's always a lot of the time it involves a pig with a apple in its mouth.
Yeah,
and I've never had that in my life, and I want it so bad.
Oh, dude, that's a legitimately delicious way to eat a pig.
Because I've done pig roasts before, and I've never had.
I've never been to a pig
mouth.
roast, and I want that. I want that.
I want
so
that.
bad.
I want it in my body.
I want like both of those things. You just like the pig roast plus the single bone. I want
single bone meat. But it's also just called meat. You don't know what type of meat it is. Who knows? It's just
don't worry
meat,
about it. That's not something you should worry about.
Oh God, it's so cartoony, but it looks so delicious.
Dan, or
what?
Sorry, I was gonna ask Chris a question, but now that I said your name first, Dan, what is like the food that you would most want to eat from a video game?
I just told you meat. No.
Meat generally is not a good enough answer. Drill down here,
You know
Dan.
what I've always been interested in? And I've had these in real life, but they always look so appetizing whenever I played Dynasty Warriors and there were meat buns on the field.
Meat buns?
Meat buns. It's like bow. It's like pork bow or something like that. But
Okay.
But in Dynasty Warriors, one of the things that would happen. Have you ever played Dynasty Warriors, guys? You played the games?
We have. Yes.
Okay. So, of course, in Dynasty Warriors, it's the romance of the three kingdoms, like the opera. It's three different Chinese dynasties, and you're thwacking dudes away, and then your health gets low.
All of the dudes. Thousands.
Thwacking off all the dudes. And then as you are going through, your health gets low, and then sometimes you're, oh, what do I need? And then you open up a crate, and inside, there's a meat bun. A delicious, steamy, appetizing meat bun that restores your health. I want that. I want a meat bun that makes me feel better and not feel like crap after I eat 6 of them, you know? I want those.
I mean,
so it's like a giant pork bun.
It's like a giant pork bun. It's because it's a video game, so you're like the character, and the meat bun is probably about half the size of your character. So you walk over it and you eat it and recover some health. I
put a recipe in the business related thing for you, Dan.
Yeah, but like that's real big. It's
Is it too big?
No, it's not too big. There's no way it's too big. It's the right size.
Okay. Thank God.
Oh man, that looks delicious.
It does look good, right? It really looks good.
Have you all played any of the Monster Hunter games at all?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
The Meowscular chef is just like, I just wish that I could hang out with him so he could cook for me, because he makes the best looking foods.
It is amazing, like how they rendered food so well in that game to be like,
yeah,
just appetizing. The amount of times I played Monster Hunter World and was like, oh, I just want to eat it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting that like they're able to. Okay, what makes food appetizing? What does it look like? What's the color? What's it's like? It's got to have like some translucence on some of the grease, like, you know what I mean? Like they spent some time on that.
Yeah, they really like gave it some.
They spent
love.
some time looking at food.
Yeah.
And that would have made me super hungry.
This is making me super hungry right now. This might be a problem.
I'm super hungry right now.
Yeah, I don't like apricots. Apricots? This is a divisive word.
I say apricot.
I say apricot. Chris, break the tie.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It does.
But I will say, you know what does matter?
Go ahead.
Another WoW thing.
Yeah.
Did you either of you do a mage?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Conjured Manastrudel.
I don't.
Okay, hold on. Let me take a look at this, because I'm skeptical about Conjured Manastrudel, because do you know what I found out about mana?
What?
This word comes from the Bible, right?
Sure.
And do you know what it means?
It's bread. It's flat bread.
No. The word mana means, what is this?
Oh, so it's like just something or other. It's like mystery meat.
It's like
Conjured something or other strudel.
Yeah, it's like literally like conjured, I don't know, strudel.
Yeah, but I'm gonna send you a picture and you tell me.
I do like that.
How delicious does that look?
Okay.
I do like that there is like a little bit of...
Imagine like a toaster strudel, but to the 10th degree, conjured out of nothing. It probably had in front of you. And so I was talking about this with Tart earlier, and he made the good point of it's probably got no calories because it's made out of nothing.
Oh, it just be
so
delicious.
It's definitely diet.
Well, but
so it's probably got like aspartame.
But it's
gonna make it poop.
So like like a Diet Coke. So it's basically like that, but a strudel.
No, but it's
so like you're not getting any calories from it. So like it's not filling you up, but it's delicious all the same.
It's got to be like nutritive in some way, because it restores 100% of your health and mana over 20 seconds.
But you do have to remain seated while drinking it.
and if you leave, it goes away.
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, it's funny that like we think about being a mage. Like if I were a mage, I would just do all this cool shit, and like in reality, I'd honestly just be like conjuring Takis as fast as possible.
Get me these delicious snacks.
I would just control time to be like, oh, that meal was so good. I think I'll eat it again. Snap, you're back in time. The meal's there again. You eat it the same way.
It's honestly the thing.
Hit heroism so you could eat it fast.
Are there any like healthy foods in games that would be worth eating in real life?
Why Why am I eating healthy foods in real life?
I don't know.
Those.
For nutrition
Why am I eating
purposes.
healthy foods in fake life? I can eat those.
You ever see like an apple in a video game? Like you see an apple in a video game and it's just like the perfect shape. It's the perfect color. It's always like red with that little yellow tint on the side. And it just looks really like delicious. Like it would
like an
be
Animal Crossing
what?
apple.
Yeah.
You know what really makes me want to have apples? Have you guys watched Pirates of the Caribbean recently?
Not recently, no.
Captain Barbossa wants me to eat apples. He loves apples.
He does.
He eats apples in pretty much every movie.
Oh, that's right, because he couldn't taste food, so he would the first thing he wanted to do was take a bite of a crisp, fresh
That dude
apple.
makes me want to eat apples.
He does. He does.
Anyways.
But apples, I always wonder what the geishal greens are in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, what are they?
They look good.
Like what do you mean? What are they? What
Is it like
it looks like a little lettuce. Like it looks like
really good spinach?
Yeah, basically. It's like super
I mean, spinach is pretty dope.
I guess. I mean,
Is
and if you're gonna make a
spinach dope?
salad,
You don't like spinach?
I mean, I like spinach.
How do you feel about arugula? Arugula's
I do like arugula.
shit's spicy, yo.
Oh my god. Okay.
I mean, at least it's not that bitch ass iceberg lettuce. God damn.
Dude, that shit sucks.
Just
It's
water.
water.
Are there like the other thing was desserts? So the portal cake is just like I just want to eat the portal cake, and I don't even like cake, but the portal cake I could bury my face in that.
I love cake. I love cake. Cake is like I could be on a diet and I couldn't have eaten anything all day, and a coworker brings in a shitty
Like a sheet cake?
Safeway cake,
Yeah, or something.
sheet cake, whatever. I'll have a piece of it. I love cake. It's so good. I love cake. So much.
I'm one of those people who only really likes one type of cake. I only like chocolate cake. But like
Really? Like chocolate cake?
like chocolate cake,
Or like does it chocolate frosting?
chocolate cake, chocolate icing. And I don't want any fancy shit either. Like just literally like the icing you get from the store, like the chocolate kind that you just put. There's like it's on there. There you go. It's a cake. You know, have you ever watched the movie Matilda?
Yes.
The chocolate cake.
I know exactly that cake. That cake looks phenomenal.
I would eat that cake just like Brucey does in that movie.
that cake is sopping, and I want it.
I would want that so bad.
I want it. I could do exactly what he did.
Yes. I don't even need fucking Matilda to cheer me on. I just need
I don't need
that
anyone to
cake.
cheer me on. That's a Tuesday.
Yeah. All right. And I guess that's it for the show this week.
In summary,
Cake.
Yeah.
That was fun. I hope you all enjoyed this incredibly non-serious episode of the podcast. We love making it
there's
for
a
you.
lot of levity.
If you want to come post your favorite recipes or talk about the silly shit you do in games, you can do that at bit.ly/discobrew, or you can find us on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I think that's going to be it. So let's say good night as if we were burying our faces in cake at the same time together, everybody. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Give me your cake recipes.